What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Movie Files featuring Chief.
Hey, okay. I'm up first. Usually I was waiting for I had the head nod waiting for my man to be announced. Like always,
this is show that shit happens.
It's bro shot. All right.
Exactly.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up,
going
man?
on? Our guys in the comments. I see they all there, man. Everybody's hyped up. It's Wednesday night, and you know what it is.
Exactly. Jace, welcome back to the USA.
Yeah. Oh, he was out the country?
Yeah. I was actually hanging in London this weekend.
Oh, really? How is it over there?
It's nice. Went saw the Harry Potter studio. It was cool.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you order a Royale with cheese?
I did not. And I got some comments on their food a little bit.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
it was a good trip.
I know you had some fish and chips.
I did.
Okay. Yeah. I love London, man. I love it.
I see. Chief is a world traveler, so I knew he'd have some.
No, I just like to look at it from a distance. I heard the bed bugs was crazy over there.
Hey, I didn't go to France for a reason.
So yeah, but that's all good, man. I'm glad you had a good time there.
Good time, yeah.
How's that plane flight across the pond?
If you have a good seat, good. If you don't, if you're like 6 feet and bigger, and you don't get the at least the economy deluxe, you better hope you go to sleep quick. It was real. I showed Jeff a picture. This was my leg room. That was all bad.
You are a tall man. Yeah. Me and Jeff here at 5'7".
That was Jason's leg room.
Damn, I ain't going.
It was real.
It was real in the field.
Hey, Jeff, man, we be good.
Chief, I would be good. I don't think you would work in.
I don't think so, Chief.
I got a little bit of weight on me.
You're not a hobbit, man.
A hobbit.
I take that look. I look now. I understand I'm not a sucker.
I didn't say you were Frodo.
Oh shit,
Mr. Frodo.
Yeah, that's where I am too, Blake. Yeah.
You tall dudes, man. You tall dudes, man.
Especially when he wears his Tom Cruise platforms.
You know, I got the list in my shoes.
Always, Chief.
Well, I don't even know where to begin with this week. I mean, it's just
jump into the deep end.
All right. Let's start with a positive question mark. No, positive question. Well, no, this is good. This is good, but it's like I know how it's going to end. So, the Iron Claw trailer dropped today, and if you're a fan or a long-time old school wrestling fan who know who the Von Erich brothers are, you know their story, how everything went down. But in the mid '80s, in their heyday, they were as big as Hulkamania, as big as Stone Cold Steve Austin. He always talks about how growing up in Dallas, he would go watch the Von Erich brothers do their thing against the Fabulous Freebirds, against Gary Hart, against Skandar Akbar's crew. So many of the legends that we would see later on fighting Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Macho Man, etc., started off or made a pit stop at some point in their careers in World Class, and that was the Von Erich's promotion run by their father. So guys like One Man Gang, Junkyard Dog was there for a minute, Midnight Express, Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair came through. Yeah, man, Devastation Incorporated. They were that's where they went before they rolled to UWF and Mid-South. They were doing their thing there. What up, James? That was weird. I don't know how that. Yeah, okay, there we go. But yeah, they did their thing, and there were so many dudes. King Kong Bundy was there. I mean, so ravishing Rick Rude, the Dingo Warrior, who would go on to become the Ultimate Warrior. So many legends were in World Class, did their thing, including, and you can't go any further than this guy, Stunning Steve Austin, aka Stone Cold Steve Austin. So everybody was in there. And, a little bit later on, Booker T, Stevie Ray, Harlem Heat, did their thing there. So lots of good guys. But this trailer for the Iron Claw looks to be pretty fairly faithful to the Von Erich story, at least from the trailer. And I don't know about you, Jace, but hearing the Tom Sawyer theme song playing, I was like, oh man, this is legit. It had me really hyped up. What did you think of it?
I know we talked about the trailer like probably a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I want to see it because it's like I saw the picture. I'm like, all right, maybe I'm not really seeing all the Von Erichs yet, but maybe once you see him moving, it'll look like the Von Erichs. After seeing the trailer, I'm like, okay, this looks good. I'm just in fact, it's getting wide release. I'm like, okay, I don't know how big it's gonna be, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go see that one. Like that looks good. I hope it has the guys look a little. I know you're critiquing like Young Rock's actors. I'm hoping this one looks a little more faithful to the actual actors, and yeah, it does.
Well, I mean, Zac Efron's playing Kevin Von Erich. Then we've got. I'm gonna have to break them down because I
Shameless guy, Jeremy something.
Jeremy, yeah. And what's he in, Chief? I haven't seen
He's
him.
in The Bear.
Shameless. He was the older brother of he was the eldest male because Fiona.
Oh, okay.
So if you watch Shameless, he's started there for 11 seasons.
Oh wow, okay. So Jeremy Allen White,
yeah,
and then Harris Dickinson is in it, and man, I gotta scroll a little bit to see my boy Mike, because they just throw him in there. But just looking at the cast, they've got a rack of people in there. They've got Ross Von Erich, Marshall, and MJF. If you're a current wrestling fan, is going to play Lance Von Erich, so that's going to be kind of funny. Okay. He is going to be a part of the movie, but I really think what's cool is it's Holt McCallany going to play Fritz Von Erich, and he's one of those actors who you've seen and you've seen him and stuff. And I think of him first and foremost from being in The Losers, but he was in Fight Club, Lights Out. He's just done a ton of stuff. Nightmare Alley, Wrath of Men, Greenland. He's always like this second kind of guy. He was the burglar in the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League. Hey, something's coming. I mean, you've seen him and stuff. He looks like he's going to be a really, really, really great version of Fritz Von Erich.
Like, I mean, it's funny. Like, I think I've watched like a lot of those like documentaries on the wrestlings, and I have like just hearing the story of Fritz Von Erich, like how he was trying to. I mean, he did a great job. I mean, like Jeff named some of the wrestlers that came through. UW
World Class.
Easiest way to say it. And it was. I mean, having a guy who's like an actual really good actor is like Fritz is like, okay, that's gonna help. Like, I mean, like Zac Efron is probably the one you're like when somebody pitched it, they're like, we got Zac Efron to be basically our last man standing is Kevin Von Erich.
Not really, like, basically.
I mean, sadly, it's like so. It's like. We got somebody was pitching this like we want this to work, so I'm excited. Like this isn't just something that's going to go on Peacock or something like that. This is something like no, we really want wide release and actually get something out of it.
I'll be curious what the reception is going to be because this story is ripe for Oscar bait if it's done in the right way. I mean, the wrestler Mickey Rourke is not like they were scoffing at that. He won the Oscar, didn't he?
No. If you saw the look on my face, it was more so because. Sadly, their story is just dang gone. I mean, it's like what could happen next, and then unfortunately, it happens next. It's not like I don't know. I'm sure like Kevin, because Kevin is the last man standing. You can put the positive of their life story, like, hey, here's why it all mattered, and this is what it all came to. But it's like when you get there, it's like, dang God, how many bad things could happen to one family? And it's like. All of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's real crazy. And Rourke was nominated. He didn't win the Oscar. I was trying to remember that. But yeah, I think this could go well on that. But so that was basically the positive news for the week. And Chief, before I move on, did you watch the Von Erichs at all? Did you see them?
I remember them, but my interest in wrestling is not as strong as yours. When I was a kid, a friend of mine, Kenny Longendike, shout out Kenny, upstate New York.
I thought you were going to say Kenny Loggins for a second.
No, Kenny Longendike. Good dude, man. And he used to have the wrestlers used to come in like they would be rubber.
Yeah. The brick.
LJN. Bounce them and stuff. So he used to have a ring, and he had every wrestler and all these things. He was really into it. And that's like when we were young, we were real young. That's kind of like how I learned about the wrestlers, and then like I would watch on, So I remember I remember them. Of course, I remember the Junkyard Dog, Coco Beware, all these different dudes. But actually, the only thing I was wondering is does Zac Efron know what bread tastes like?
No. Zac Efron has since he out of 15, I don't think they made a sniff bread. If you smell bread and flour around him, he's like, run, I must go.
Yeah, man, that dude must not have had bread in decades, man. I don't, I'm like, God damn, man, I don't even know what I would do if I was in that great of shape. I wouldn't even run. I would be naked all the time. I would just run around literally with like a fig leaf. Just, you know what I mean? Just walking through the grocery store, pushing my cart. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh no. Well, why don't you come over later? You can wash your blouse on my stomach. You know what I mean? It just is the way it is. So that's what I was wondering. But you guys say it's interesting. If it gets the thumbs up from Live's Movie Files, I may check it out. I'm not a big wrestler guy, but a good tragedy movie is always good for the books.
I mean, honestly, and I say that's the thing is like it's like wrestling is probably gonna be the heart of this movie, but it's the actual stuff that happens to the Von Erichs as trying to like the business side of wrestling, which is now, I mean, it's been exposed, so it's not like it's some big secret. So you can see how that works, and then all the tragedy that literally is their life. I mean, it's a story.
Wrestling, those guys live tragic lives anyways. Like when you look at all the old wrestlers, like gosh damn, baby, they've.
they said like they were on the road like in general like 330 days a year. It's like might have had a wife at home, but it's like it's like most of them is like. Yeah, my relationship with my oldest kids, not so rosy. Like, or they try and emulate me, and it's, that's how we stay close.
Yeah, man, it gets crazy. Like, and then like you just read the drugs, the deaths, the Benoit. This just stuff goes crazy, man, and that lifestyle was just. Those, so I mean, I'm not surprised that another story from the world of wrestling turns out bad, but it's crazy. It's crazy over there. I'm glad let's be glad we're not wrestlers.
Yeah.
I see what
but you always know you wanted to have the 24-inch pythons, vitamins,
I do miss Piper's Corner though.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yes. But I think of all the wrestling stories, this one really, really, really seems like it would be a good movie because it's got all the pathos, ethos you could possibly want. And it's got the hopeful, positive ending at the end of the story because this is what really happens in real life. They don't have to, how in the world can we make this and spin it around? It actually does have a good one. So, all right, let's move on to the train wrecks of the week. the real life train wrecks that are just, will probably eventually be their own movies. Let's just drop the bomb onto it and let's go with the big news that we got. Coincidentally, at the same time that Jada Pinkett Smith has a new book coming out, she drops the bombshell that, hey, by the way, me and Will have been separated since 2016. Thoughts? I'm just gonna go right into it. What the heck is happening? And what do you guys think about this? Because I mean, my main question was what the heck is Will losing his career over if I mean he's not even rolling tight with her like that. I mean, do we care about the facade of their marriage? Because to me, I wasn't like, oh yeah, their marriage goals. Those words never came out of my light or my mouth because I'm looking at them like this is a mess and a shambles. Why in the world are they trying to keep this thing up?
But remember, that really was what people were saying before. It wasn't like you didn't, but there were a lot of people that were like, oh, this is what I want. Oh, you see how much he has her back. Oh, it's so beautiful. And it's like, it's all a lie. I mean, I think that's the real truth. It's like, it's like they are real people, but they didn't want him. It's like, I'm going to say, it's like, it seemed like a business arrangement that literally has gone bad. It's like, Will, I mean, now that Jada has now let the cat out of the bag, it's just like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, it's like, this is one of those times your agent's like, seriously, now that she let it out, we can move our separate ways now, right? Because it's like whatever you have to pay her right now, it's cheaper right now. Like because next time you make a movie, it goes more into that bank. Just let's be done with this now.
What I do know is Ari Gold would be like, see, he does need a new role because nobody thought anybody could act as well.
Hey, he was like, this is a dude who's been up for best. I mean, what was it? Best actor. He's won. It's like it's just like what I'm saying. I don't know what either of these people's transgressions are, but it's like the facade's done. Like Jada has buried you at this point, man. Let it be. Like this is time to call it.
All right, so Jada said in her upcoming NBC News primetime special with Hoda that the couple had not previously gone public with their separation because they were quote unquote not ready yet. They were still trying to figure out,
7 years you weren't ready for it? Come on.
Then she goes, we're still trying to figure out between the two of us how to be in partnership. How do we present that to people? We hadn't figured that out.
I mean, it's like, it's a business. It's like, just accept it's a business arrangement that does not work. It's like, she's going to make money off whatever you do. Whatever happens, she's going to sell a book, a tell all about you. You can actually make money off movies. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. And she said their marriage fractured because of a lot of things. I think by the time we got to 2016, we were both just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be. She said she made a promise that there would never be a reason for her and Smith to divorce. And I just haven't been able to break that promise. And by the way, her book, coincidentally, is coming out October 17th, which would be 10 more days. But yeah, it's wild. Snake Eyes says, I kind of feel bad for Will Smith. I kind of feel bad for him too, but I also feel like, dude, you just kept in on this. And Blake says, back about 6 years ago, I did hear they were in an open marriage. I feel like that's been the case for a minute. His pride of not wanting things to fail is making him not divorce her. She's acting out and is begging for a divorce. I feel that too. And Keith says, I'm just happy for Will to be free of this. And also, since people are going to cry about Chris, nor do I care, he slapped Rock.
Okay, like this is, this one, it's like, it's not like Will hasn't been divorced already. That's what I was trying to get, in my head, I'm like, it's not like Will is like, hey, marriage is forever. He's like, he's already done the divorce thing. So it's like, why? I just don't understand truly. It's like, why haven't you made this move? It's like, after, it would have been like, hey, after the pandemic, all right, we decided, just like a lot of people, it's like, hey, it's not working out. We've had our issues. We're calling it quits. Like, I don't get it. It's like, let her have a house in Malibu. Like, I don't get it.
Chief is sitting there patiently biding his time. I mean, he was sitting here doing the thoughtful. All right, Chief, what's your thoughts on all this?
Will Smith, man, has been made to look like the greatest sucker ever living. She kept. It's funny. She kept pulling them to the red table, telling all their business. Now, this fact, she wanted to withhold the fact that they weren't together. But you couldn't withhold the fact that you were sleeping with another dude who's your son's friend in the house. That should have been withheld. This part that you've been separated should have been told.
Right.
So, were they living separate? It sure didn't sound like it. Sounded like Will was coming home and she was down on the West Wing with the young boy. Because let's be honest. Let's be honest. When she got into that story, this dude's eyes were red. He was crying.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've been separated since 2016, why is that something for you to get emotional about? So now she's saying y'all haven't been together, this, that, and the third. What are you doing, man? Why? Like, every chance she gets, man, she makes this dude look bad. And this dude still is hanging around, man. And then maybe it's the California divorce laws. Maybe he didn't get a prenup. Because I'll be honest with you, if I'm worth $400 million, I do not want to give some woman who didn't love me $200.
But okay, isn't it on one level? It's like it is at this point. You can make you have more money than most people are gonna have in their life, and you can still a great lifestyle, and you can make more money. Just cash out whatever's in the bank account. You take half. You take the house. I will buy another $6 million place. That is awesome. Like even if it's like that maybe he loves her so much he doesn't want to divorce her, and she's doing everything possible. Like, divorce me, fool. Like,
I know dudes who got killed over a quarter.
We do not advocate such policies.
And we're talking about $200 million. So let me tell you something, man. I don't know. I just know that you still going to shows with her. I mean, she should have never been at the Oscars. She would have been sitting with me. Like, what's the point of we're not together, we're still making appearances? Like,
it's the front. They needed to have the front.
It was literally cheated on him. She's already had the young boy. What front at this point? What does that achieve?
Well,
it's not like Will is gay.
Our marriage is stronger no matter what our transgression has been. We are still stronger together, and we're still real couple goals that really nobody would want.
There's no reason to perpetrate that lie. There's no reason. She has pretty much put the fact that she's doing her thing out there in the world. You know what I mean? And you know what's funny, man? I swear to God, man. A older man looks at a younger woman. Women go crazy with oh, look at that pedo. No woman said nothing when Jada was dating this 19-year-old boy, 20-year-old boy. You know what, man? I'm so sick of Will Smith. I'm sick of Jada. I'm sick of Willow. I'm sick of what's the other boy? Jaden. I don't even like the other boy, the oldest one. I'm sick of him too, and he ain't done nothing. I'm just sick of this Will Smith joint, man. Will has joined my list of people that I no longer want to watch.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, man.
He's next to Mel Gibson.
Oh, man.
Listen, man. It's just because I feel like I feel like almost at the end of Batman when he was like, "We can't tell him about Two-Face. He was the best of us." Right? So we very rarely get a dude as clean as Will. He didn't cuss in his raps. He was pleasant. Black folks liked him. White folks wasn't scared of him. He was good dude, right? Everybody loved Will. You don't get that where everybody loves Will. And now everybody's laughing at Will. And you're like, bro, you had it all. You had it all. Okay. And you let this one woman take you down. Like you look like a straight sucker, no backbone, no nothing.
Let's say this. But you are actually right, Chief. But it's one of those deals. It's like he can, like Blake was saying, like he can come back. He needs his comeback story. It's whatever it takes. It's like this now is like, okay, this is when you're aging. This is when your mom is like, okay, now it's out in the world. Like we have to move on to get you to the next spot because you are a laughing stock. Like you don't need to bring her to the award shows. You don't need to act like it's done. It is wrapped up. It's over. Like we don't have to play these games because half of it, everybody probably knew. Everybody in Hollywood knew. But now it's, I can sell a book. So now I can see if I can get off my D-list celebrity tour, and ask them not on Hollywood Square. And somebody asked me about me. Because if this wasn't about Barry and Will Smith, Hoda and wouldn't be talking to me. None of these people would be talking. And Jenna wouldn't be talking to me. Like nobody would be talking about me. So it's like it's not because, hey, Jada, we've heard about that last role you're in. It looks like you're going to do great. Nah, I don't have those on my story. I got what more can I say about Will Smith and make him look like a sucker?
7 years, bro. It's 7 years. Let me ask you this: what girl in your life that you broke up with, and then 7 years later you were still in love with? It's not been one. It's not been one. And nobody in the comments has it been for. And nobody who's watching who isn't commenting, it's not been one. 7 years, bro, is enough time to get over any woman.
If you want, it's almost like if you want to get over a woman, anybody, I never say this, man, woman, if you want to get over, just get over. It's like, put some time in your distance. But you can't live in the same house with that person. Like, if you were living, it's like you saw how quick Kevin Costner got. It's like it's time. It's rollout time. Like here's your settlement.
Like he really was. He was like, "Oh, word, peace." She was like, "I want to stay. I'm not staying here."
This is my house. I still pay the bills. I pay mine.
Kevin Costner. Let me tell you, man. The cheating is the ultimate get over that woman. She cheats on you. If you don't put up a wall at that point, there is not going to be a wall. There's not too much a woman can do to you after that to destroy you at that point. Like you got cheated on, bro. And not only did you get cheated on, she brought you on camera to let everybody know that she cheated on you.
Oh yeah. And, you remember the time I brought him over? Yeah, we was looking up.
Yeah.
Come on. It's like,
Will at the door. Hold on, man. Hold on. 20 minutes, we be out. Hey, man, I'm just warming Jada up, man. I'll be out with a minute. Hey, man, pour me some juice, man. I'm going to be thirsty. So now he's out there, and he's pouring the dude a glass of cranberry juice. And it's fresh at the Smith household.
Yeah, it's not about to expire.
It's not processed. Right. So, and now
you got the juicer.
Right.
You got the juice now. Oh,
so 7 years, bro. Like she cheated on him. And here the thing is.
The funny thing is like there's rumors he was cheating, but it's like, yeah. It's like both of y'all weren't happy. I don't get why either one of you guys are living this life.
That's the main thing though. Not cheated with him with a dude who was greater. Cheated with a lesser man. Let me tell you something.
Gosh. I'm like, hold on, folks. Disclaimer here. I know it's coming.
Hey, if you're gonna cheat, and listen, I don't condone cheating. I don't believe in cheating. But if you're gonna cheat, greater than or equal to, if you're going to go, hey, greater than or equal to, if you're dating a woman. And you're giving a woman everything you have, or she's dating a man and she's giving that man everything, vice versa, however you want to say it. And then that person goes and cheats with a person under your level. in my mind, that's the level you were at. And I put you up on a pedestal. And what happens when you put people up on a pedestal, their legs get wobbly. Let me tell you, man, every time you cannot put, as soon as on the pedestal, so you can't do that. So when your woman or your man cheats on you with somebody lesser, that was their true worth, that lesser. And if you can't find it in your heart to break up with somebody who was less than, then you's a sucker. And I'm done.
Oh man. You know what's hilarious to me? Robin Thicke cheated on Paula Patton, and she was like, I'm out. I'm good. The Joker made a whole album, called it Paula. And she wasn't like, oh, you know how to take you back. She was like, yeah, we're done, dude.
Sucker.
We're out. And she was like, I'm no sucker. I'm no punk.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, you bet. But he probably cheated on her with a lesser. And now she looked at him and said, well, you're worth this. And it was easier for her to walk away. Like, stop cheating. Man, listen, man. Everybody been cheated on. But you think I would feel more hurt if my woman cheated on me with a millionaire? Or if I feel more hurt, did she cheat on me with Pooh Bear from you know what I mean, from 57th and with 6 baby mamas? I'm going to be hurt like, damn, what was I doing that made you go cheat with a dude with 6 women, no job? So now, in my head, I'm like, oh, you was this all along. I thought you were here. I elevated you. I remember the first time I took you and bought you a $300 steak, and you were like, what is this? And I'm like, it's steak. This is what it's supposed to taste like. And then I was like, you know, I'm in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I'm elevating her. I'm showing her stuff. But she really likes to be down here. She likes Mickey D's. I can't take her.
She likes the 7-Eleven. She likes the 7-Eleven.
No, that's 7-Eleven hot dog.
You know what I mean? A spicy bite. You know what I mean? That's it, bro. So you got to realize that sometimes the people you messing with is just on a level that you didn't think they were on. You wanted that person to be here, and that person is truly here. And Jada, as much as he loved it, I mean, shorty is here.
Let me say this, like, am I wrong? It's like Pac. I mean, what was her rebound off Pac? It's like Pac was who he was, and Will, he's nice. Yeah. Why don't you go with the nice guy?
Well, here's the thing, and that's the thing, right? Pac was a great rapper, smart, this, that, and the third. But as a boyfriend, was Pac?
He's the bad boy that girls wanted. I mean, in their young years, like, he's the bad boy. Oh, I can change him. And Will is the safe dude who's not going to cheat on you. He's going to treat you. He's going to put you on a pedestal.
Pac is going to cheat. There's no doubt in your mind that Pac is going to cheat. So let's get that out the way right there. Pac is going to cheat.
Pac is not going to cheat. Pac will never claim you. So he's not cheating.
That might be true too, but Pac is going to, you're not going to, and that's what I'm saying. You elevate. Pac was a good dude in his own way, but Pac wasn't no relationship material. And now you got a dude who wanted to be with you, brought you into this world. Once you got with Will, you no longer had, if you didn't want to act, if you didn't want to, nothing. You didn't have to do anything but wake up and jump the ocean, the pool. Your ocean was a pool. You was like, oh yeah, well I'm just and just straight from your bedroom into the Mediterranean Sea or wherever you wanted to be. And that wasn't enough. I gave up on thinking that men could please women when Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos got divorced. Because truly, if the richest people on earth,
I'm pretty sure that was the guys who have the richest money saying, I need some space.
Right. If they can't please a woman, if they can't give a woman enough of what they need, bro, you, me, them, it's not going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. You know what I mean? And I don't even have a fraction of what they had. You know what I mean? Bro, it's that's on Will. Will can continue looking like a sucker. I no longer support him. I no longer support his movies. I want him gone. I just want, like, bro, why don't you just go somewhere and be to yourself the next 30 years, man? You know what I mean? You have ruined your career. You have ruined the masculinity that was Will Smith. You know what I mean? People wanted to be, look, who want to be Will Smith now? No one. You would be like, man, I'd love to be Will Smith for just a day or two. You don't say that anymore. Nobody says that. She has ruined it all, bro. Let me tell you. I wash my hands of Will. Will can do what he want, man, but he ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna do it for me. You know what I mean? Will ain't gonna get another buck of Chiefs money. Not $1. Wow. You know what I mean?
I can't believe he's joined the bus with Mel Gibson and Kanye for Chief. All right.
Okay.
I mean, that wasn't all the chaos from this week.
Oh, no.
I mean, wow. All right. So there was another big, crazy bombshell that dropped earlier today. Daredevil Born Again was allegedly supposed to be coming out pretty soon. Then with the writer's strike, it got pushed back to, we'll get to it later. But now the Hollywood Reporter is saying things are not well in Born Again Daredevil land. So this was supposed to be an 18-episode series, but the Hollywood Reporter says that fewer than half of the episodes have been shot. And then Kevin Feige was like, whoa. No, this isn't cutting it. I can't have yet another failure on this Phase 4, Phase 5 multiverse saga run. So Marvel Studios fired the head writers, Chris Ord and Matt Corman last month, along with the directors attached to the remaining episodes. So now the plan is to essentially reboot Daredevil Born Again, which seems kind of ironic. We're going to reboot the show called Born Again, and they're going to be new writers, new directors, all straight. And apparently there's some issues with it because it was going to be the legal show that She-Hulk Attorney at Law was not. And it seems like apparently Matt Murdock wasn't going to suit up as Daredevil until the 4th episode.
Now look at Chief's face right now.
It's the same dude? It's the same dude?
Yep.
Yeah, same guy.
It's the same dude we watching. We know he's Daredevil, but he's not going to appear with Daredevil till 4. Then why not just name it Matt Murdock? You know what I mean? Attorney at Law. And then we can just
we've already failed at doing that, remember?
Bro, let me tell you, man. These guys suck. They suck, man. They truly suck. Look, man. I'm getting sick of them too, man. I mean, who the hell wants to watch a Daredevil show? Imagine Walking Dead and you don't see no walkers till the 4th episode. Just people walking through the woods. Is that something in the distance? I don't know. Let's go the other way. And then finally,
the smartest and boring zombie show ever.
See a walker walk past.
Right. I think I heard a zombie. Let's go the opposite direction.
Hey, bro.
With that.
Let me tell you, man. They can't wait to ruin these things, man. Reborn. What? Why? What? Don't they get tired? Doesn't anybody get tired?
Hey,
don't they just be like, yo?
Again, that is why Kevin Feige made the right decision of, nope, this is not cutting it. It's like, because, again, people who watch the Netflix Daredevil show are not going to sit through 4 episodes of, even though you had a very good legal part of Daredevil, you're not going to want to sit through 4 episodes of Matt Murdock, Attorney at Law. And you're not bringing back Foggy. You're not bringing back Karen. So it's like,
Foggy or Karen?
Yeah, they're not coming back.
Oh, there's some rumors now that they may be back.
That's my girl from True Blood.
Yeah.
Now there's discussion that, hey, maybe we'll bring them back.
Yeah, because the idea that they weren't coming back was stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you're gonna do a whole new legal show and not focus on them at all.
It's like that's easy to bounce right back, like to actual. If you want to have, because that was where you able to have that blend of, all right, we have legal stuff where he's by day he's actually doing legal stuff. Then, when it's time, he's Daredevil. But it was kind of that nice balance. But if you're gonna try and do 18 episodes, stretching it out, and then you're like, seriously, is this another one of those daggone Marvel shows that I'm sick of? it's like Kevin Feige's like, yes, this would have been. I'm glad I fired him, and I don't think anybody. It's like, hope you guys can write. If you guys want to write a straight legal show, there's a show called She-Hulk. Go help them out. They need it. So whatever.
Man, that's like watching John Wick and you 45 minutes in and you haven't seen a gun. It's just
and
John.
The show's only, and the only movie's only 90 minutes long.
Right, John. You see just John riding around in his 1970s Chevelle, just doing circles in a parking lot.
Oh, he's throwing the ball to his dog.
Yeah, man. Listen,
taking
man.
for a walk, feeding him.
Right.
But, I mean, like, who's that? Keith, who just said that? Like, Keith, I think that actually gave Kevin Feige the time to actually look at this. I'm like, nope. I'm glad I caught it. I'm glad you gave it the writer's strike so I can actually critique this stuff. And that is not going to cut
it. Oh, man. So now, of course, kind of along with what you said, the Hollywood Reporter is breaking all kinds of Marvel Studio news. And they had some words about the big expose, if you will, the secrets behind Secret Invasion. So Mr. Robot's Kyle Bradstreet had been working on Secret Invasion scripts for about a year. Then he was fired. Marvel Studios decided to head in a different direction and then had Brian Tucker, Thomas Buzisha, I guess, and Ali Salim to work on the story. And then the summer of 2022, the production was getting into some trouble because there were factions emerging and there were leaders behind the scenes trying to have their vision of Secret Invasion rise to the top. So it was weeks of people not getting along and it erupted. And so then Jonathan Schwartz, a senior exec at Marvel Studios, was sent to get the show back on track. And then in September 2022, much of the show's creative team was gone. The executive tasked with overseeing the show, Chris Gary, was reassigned to Antarctica, and he's expected to also leave. And other Disney Plus TV shows are said to have suffered the same kind of problem. This might surprise you, including Moon Knight and She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Jessica Gao developed and wrote the show, but she was sidelined when director Kat Corio came on board. So it's been a ton of problems. As for Secret Invasion, despite the show being billed as an important new chapter in the Saga of the Skrulls, it's not even referenced in the Marvels. So good news. You don't have to worry. You can safely ignore it and act like that never happened, just like I did in our Will Smith
didn't happen.
tribute. It didn't happen according to Marvel, so don't watch it if you never did. And we'll just
Secret Wars never happened?
I mean, basically.
They basically said they're like, you don't have to worry about Fury's wife because didn't happen. We're not bringing her.
How long was the episodes?
45, 38 minutes.
How many of them?
6.
Now,
no, I think that one was 8.
Now, don't you feel like Disney owes you a couple months free for wasting 8 episodes?
I'm sorry, it was 6 episodes. You're right, bro.
6 episodes, 45 minutes of your life on something that didn't take place. I feel like that should be like, you know what? If you watched it, we're gonna give you free Disney for 4 months.
And better yet, not raising my price up for trash. I would be more. We will, because these shows were so bad. And yes, we're gonna lose some money. We're giving everybody who actually watch these shows, because we can exactly look at the ratings. We can figure out exactly. You have 4 months free because that was trash. Like.
Sounds like this, man. You just need a good Samuel Jackson. It's good beer. So
or Sam Adams.
You know what I mean? Hey man, I'm gonna tell you, man. Yeah, when you started reading and then you started this person begat, I was like, yeah, this at the end of this story is gonna be some sucker crap. And sure enough. So you know what I mean? Whenever there's some long joint, exactly. It's good beer. Get you a Samuel Jackson, man, because they definitely owe you one. It is oh God. I just get tired, man. I feel like I'm sitting on the edge of my bed in the morning, about to get up so I can go to work, and I just have that feeling of dread and hopelessness that overcomes me that I have to fight through. And the window's right there, and I just look over and I'll be like, yo, I could just fall through it. I don't have to go to work today. But I always get up and go right instead of just out. And
we appreciate that.
Hey man, listen. You know, it just I don't understand why they do what they do, man. I mean, they're just so incredibly frustrating. And especially after being on point for so long, I feel like DC infiltrated them and was like, yo, there's some writers from DC over there. No. Just don't let them know that they worked here. You send them over and just get them to work on some scripts. And now all this confusion, all this DC confusion is starting to happen over to Marvel. We're getting bad shows. We're getting bad scripts. They're scrapping things. They're hey, forget about this now. Just like we're doing with the DC universe. Hey, forget about it. That never happened. So now, you know what I mean? Because you guys used to come on here, oh man, and you'd be on here like, hey, the episode sucked. And I remember you was like, when you gonna watch it, Chief? And I'm like, no, that doesn't sound like I want to do that with my time. And now they're telling you after watching 6 episodes that sucked, that it didn't matter that you watched them. You had to get through them. That's like cold oatmeal, getting through it, and then somebody telling you it wasn't going to be nutritious for your body. Oh, yeah, that wasn't, listen, it's no good for you. You're going to throw that in a few minutes.
If you actually say something right. I wish
that was one thing you said right.
I really wish they pulled like a DC Studios and say, this show's horrible. Like they pulled a Swamp Thing and said, hey, the show's horrible. We fired everybody. And I would have literally been like, oh yeah, and it doesn't count. I would have literally been like, thank you. So I don't have to waste like, well, 6 weeks. Like, well, maybe it'll get better.
Oh, that's right. They pieced them out to you. So you can even binge watch.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the piece out. The new thing now. You can't even get them all in one thing and binge watch over the weekend. You got to get
Keith is mentioning Echo, and Echo is supposed to show up all at once. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
What is that?
Maybe because,
What is Echo?
See, that's what I thought I heard you say. Yeah. Echo is from that character from Hawkeye that no one was asking to have their own series. She was cool in Hawkeye, and she's a character in the MCU, but she's really low on characters that should have their own series. So they tried to hype it up by going, all right, well, Kingpin and Daredevil are going to be on the show too. And it's like, oh, cool. Now I'll be interested.
Well, so I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, Echo is like, hey, I think we're all say that again? I think we're all fans of representation. Like I think we all want to see different characters, and seeing her as a major component of Hawkeye was cool. But when it comes to like making business decisions, they're like, hey, did we do enough? I think it was like, this is a character we're going to put in more stuff. I don't think is a lead. It's like, hey, this is not like, if you're doing like the hierarchy on Marvel characters, who needs this next thing? Like, okay, where do we go with Echo next? Is she a street level she's a street level person like Daredevil and all the Defenders that we have ready to go. So why not fold her into one of those shows and have her have a cool arc in those shows? Like, also the fact we are still like Daredevil's, he's not. I mean, he's showing. I mean, that's another area of representation. So why are we trying to let's throw everything out there and see who's going to catch? Because even 8 episodes of Echo is just not going to be like, I definitely want to watch Echo. It's like, where is this going to go land in my big MCU universe? Is Echo going to be the next one beating up Kang? Because I actually watched that on the plane and still trying to understand how Ant-Man beats Kang, but I don't get. I mean, they're making such dumb decisions. It's like, you guys, again, I've said you needed to write a strike to say we need to cut all this crap. Like, if you come up with the next She-Hulk Attorney at Law and say we can actually do a legal show, you're fired. Like, get them out of here. All of them out of here right now.
Well, I did hear they're doing a Mirror Man and Boomerang joint together. So that should be great because the people have been asking about Mirror Man and Boomerang. So I heard they're gonna have the I forgot the name of the guy, but he shoots the ice. So this should be good. They're all Flash enemies, and there's not gonna be Flash in it, of course. It's just gonna be them sitting around playing cards.
And, okay, Blake, I'm gonna say that this is another thing. It's like I think it's a matter of like some Jeff mentioned, I don't know, years ago, but it was like they're hiring writers who don't know anything about the characters, like don't have any background about this character. And instead of actually like, hey, we have years and years of stories that we could tweak. Like Iron Man 1 is a tweak of the original Iron Man origin. It is made for a new modern audience. Like, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you just need to, hey, we have some source material. I can adapt this story to be really cool and people will care about.
And that's what made Iron Man so great.
If I don't have, it's like, and just like, hey, I think Civil War could use a tweaking. So there is a source material, but I'm going to tweak it to make it actually work.
Right.
If I'm coming up with, I have no idea how to make a legal show, then why the hell did you come in here for this interview?
Hey, he's right now.
I mean, like, it's just like, I don't know if it's just Kevin Feige got a little too, when Bob Iger was gone, he thought he had a little too much power, didn't have to actually look at stuff. But now I'm Bob Iger says like, yeah, this crap isn't gonna fly. It's like it's going to actually. We're trying to make a Avengers theme park in Disney World, and I can't break ground on this because nobody's gonna care if this doesn't hit in the next 2 or 3 years. Nobody's going to care about Marvel. So fix it.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. The source material is there. Crack a book. You know what I mean? I would love to see Kingdom Come. The Gulag. You know what I mean? That would have been a nice little movie. But, it just, I mean, the source material is there, Jace. They just refuse to give you, everybody's smarter than the consumer.
The fans of the source material.
Yeah. And, like, nobody who reads the comic book, they're not asking for anything different. It's not like people are like, well, we need a different story. They're like, we'll come and watch the damn movie with the same story.
Exactly.
Game of Thrones, got it from the book. All these different things that we watch. Harry Potter from the books. They did some tweaking, they did some things to the story, but basically the story is from the books, man. And now, you want to go off on your own, and you have no idea what you're talking about. You just want to make up something silly and then try to force feed. And if they know their crowd, see, I'm a casual watcher, but the people in our feed, you guys read the comic books like crazy, and you
Chief, you
said
read
you wanted a Kingdom Come movie. You said you wanted a Kingdom Come movie. You're not casual.
Like,
that's fine, Chief.
Okay, I'm going back to like what Ski Raider said. Like, at this point, you have properties that are ready to go. Like, you do not. It's like when somebody says, "Hey, we need to work on the X-Men Fantastic Four, but we should put Echo on." Are you insane? Get out of my face. Get out of my door. Pack your ish. Go. If you think I paid all this money to Fox to get these properties to put Echo out there, you're an idiot. Like, get out of my face. Like, I mean, it's like we have properties ready to go that need to get out of our pipeline. Because it's like, if we at this point have paid all this money to Fox to get X-Men, that needs to be our focus. Whatever our next phase needs to be bringing the X-Men Fantastic Four and making those films franchises, making us billions of dollars. Everything else goes on pause. Like, it's
okay. Hold on. All right.
Fantastic Four.
Is my screen straight?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So Blake mentioned something about 10 years ago here in interviews that the writers and directors got outlines and a huge stack of comics to read. So yeah, that is what happened. And I think that's why we saw the Infinity Saga was so great, because the people they brought on cared about doing justice to the characters and the stories and adapted them in a way that made sense for the casual audience. Like, they couldn't reference 40 things, 30 years base of storylines into a 2-hour movie. So they were like, let's do this story within the universe that we've created. And it worked really, really well. And the difference between the DC universe and the Marvel one is Marvel had a great start with Iron Man and a great ending with Spider-Man No Way Home. So you can call that a night, and that's it. If you want to do even sooner, you could say it in game. It completed the story, WrestleMania shout out, and everything was all done and everything was great. You don't need anything else. Everything else is supplementary material. And if it's good, great. If not, who cares? But what we're seeing now is Marvel Studios, at least through phase 4, through a lot of it, they were actively not wanting writers, directors who knew extensive history of Marvel. And it's kind of like how the WWE was for a while, where if they were wrestling fans, they didn't want them writing. They wanted TV, sitcom writers coming on and doing terrible things with the product. So people were like, this is terrible. Why do you think we care about this? Because they wanted to do something different and shake it up from the audience, because they knew they had this audience. They wanted this audience, but this audience doesn't care. They're not watching She-Hulk. They're not watching different shows with wacky, quirky takes. You've got this audience who's bringing in $1 billion for your movies. That's all you need. You're not going to get $5 billion reaching out to a greater audience. What you're going to do is that $1 billion audience you have is going to start going, what are y'all doing? This sucks. I'm out of here. I'm tired of Marvel, and I don't trust you with your movies. We just saw the trailer, the latest one for the Marvels, and I was really like, huh. And for the first time in maybe since Iron Man, I watched the Marvel Studios trailer and was like, I hope it's good. And before, I was like, oh, I'm so hyped up. Let me watch the trailer on YouTube 10 more times. And I'm just like, I hope it's good, because your track record is kind of starting to disappoint now.
I mean, like, I think it's again, I was on the plane, I watched Ant-Man again, and I'm still just like, y'all, this is a cosmic level dude, and y'all had him lose against Ant-Man. Like that, it's like y'all you can't afford mistakes like that anymore. It's like, like just,
bro. Why the Marvels though? Why not just do a part 2 of Captain Marvel? Why not just do? Like, I hate when they do that, yo. That's how they messed up Superman.
Oh, you're talking about Man of Steel sequel?
Yeah, like, yo, why don't you just do the part 2? The movie was excellent. Just throw part 2 in, man. And you could have threw the part 2 in, and maybe near the end threw in how the how some of this happened, but a whole movie of them. It looks so irritating, man.
Like, can you and you anybody in the chat, like, I know all 3 of these characters for the Marvel, all of them have been Captain Marvel.
Not Kamala. She has
well, she's Ms. Marvel, right?
She's Miss Marvel.
Okay, so we have it's like try like what I guess the thing is, like, you had that North Star from, I mean, basically, like, you had in Iron Man 1, you had the Avengers, and as soon as the Avengers, your next 20 films or 10 movies was built to Endgame. This one is like, oh, we're building to the Kang Dynasty, and you're like, what the hell is that? Like,
well, they haven't built it whatsoever. I mean,
it's like the multiverse is like the multiverse is your thing, but it's like, and you have all these multiple variants of Kang, but what? It's like you don't mention him half the time. Kang is not like, I mean, Jeff mentioned this, like, probably months ago. And I think like 80s kids, like y'all talked about better stories of what the Kang Dynasty could be or what this phase could be, and it's just like they just like, well, we didn't think of it. We don't read comic books. Like,
well, that's the problem. And James, to answer your question, with the Blade movie, that one is also in limbo hiatus right now because they're rewriting that one. And to Ski Raider, yeah, it seemed like a rumor was it was going to have Blade's daughter, and we don't need Blade's sidekick, whether that's his son, his daughter, or a young partner. We don't need that. We need Blade.
Trinity taught you that.
Who? They really were going to have Blade in his first movie about to get replaced.
Basically.
Bro.
So,
Again, these are. I'm sorry. Like, as an employer, you have to have that. Just if somebody comes in there with such stupid sass ideas, you got to be like, get out. Like, this is when you need somebody like literally like who takes on like Ari Gold role. Like, is that really the best you got? Yeah. Get out. Get out. Freak out of my office. Pack your ish and go.
all right, so lots of comments here. I'm waiting for Disney Plus to see Marvels. I couldn't care less, which may be happening sooner than we think at this rate. Because I'm not hearing a lot of buzz about the Marvels, and I think some of it is because Captain Marvel might be a tad overpowered, and why does she need anybody to team up with? And to your point, Chief, I think what happens is they were at least trying to have some connection to WandaVision, to Miss Marvel, and bring those characters to the movies. But I think WandaVision was really good. And I like Miss Marvel, I like Miss Marvel. I thought it was fine for what it was. But again, you've got this overarching theme of the multiverse, and you have not really touched on it outside of Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Loki. Loki season 2 is really, really good. And I think the next episode comes on tomorrow. It's weird because it feels like it's been a long time. But that's really good and it focuses on the multiverse. But we've had so much stuff in this phase 4 and phase 5 that didn't really, in Ant-Man, I always forget Ant-Man, but it wasn't enough to focus on what should be a really big deal. Like when Thanos showed up in Avengers, everyone who knew was like, oh, shoot, word, you're going to do this? And everybody who didn't was like, okay. But we kept seeing Thanos throughout that point. We saw him in Guardians, we saw him in Avengers 2. So it was like, all right, clearly there's a point. And these little gems, these stones, they matter. Don't know how they connect if you're not a comic book fan. But there's a draw, there's a straight line through one thing to the next. And we're not seeing that so far with this multiverse saga. It's like 1 in every 5 movies happens to talk about it. 1 in every 10 TV shows is like some offhand mention, but it doesn't feel like it's building anything. And by the end of phase 1, we knew where the saga was going. It wasn't a name, it wasn't Infinity Saga. So it was like, okay, maybe they're just going to fight Thanos at the end of Avengers Part 2, which we knew eventually would be Age of Ultron. And we don't have any like, oh, okay, this is where it's going. It's still just kind of left in limbo.
I mean, I was thinking, it's like, is this some of this because of Jonathan Major's legal trouble? But I'm like, I actually counter that because it's like they don't even mention it at all. It has nothing to do with the legal trouble. It's like it doesn't have anything to do with the writer's strike. All this stuff was done before, and they just dropped the ball, and it's just completely diluted the project. Yeah, he was, but and that it's like, I mean, he was really good in Loki, and it was like, oh well, we need to put him in some. Oh, let's have him being the bad guy. It's like that didn't work.
I feel like Monica Rambeau could have been a character. They could have just done a full movie, a show on if they weren't a little gunshot. Because I feel like she's a way better character than Carol Danvers anyway.
It's like she's different.
She would have worked.
I think that's the big. I mean, it's like it doesn't. Her powers aren't a derivative of Captain Marvel. Like you don't think Captain Marvel is getting replaced by Photon. It's like, so people will be like, I want to see the next Captain Marvel movie. I'm cool with seeing this Photon movie if you give me something good, or you hadn't given me all this crap before that makes me not want to go spend money.
Cassie broke me in Ant-Man 3. What multiverse saga is barely focused on the multiverse? Exactly, 80s kid. Ski Raider says, thanks, Jeffrey. Build it faster and crazier and cooler. It was Marvel. Don't mess around. Get it going to somewhere. Kang is too ambiguous, says Stickman. There's bad versions of him. Okay, Thanos was Thanos, the one and only. And I think you're right on that, Stickman. Showing that end scene with 1 million Kangs, like, oh, so the dude they beat, he wasn't really that important because there's like 5,000 different versions of him to come up. So, and in the comic book that's based on, there's a lot of Kangs, but we've seen Kang by that point in the comic book several times, and it was like, oh, this is a big shock. But in our first introduction to the character, we don't need to know. Yeah, he's just one of so many you can't even count. So that was a real issue there too. They have infinite amounts, and they're going to pare down in Loki season 2, 6 episodes to go ahead and do it and start dropping fire. And Loki season 2 has been really, really good. What about Ashram the Judge from Eternals? Yeah, I know everybody's looking for that sequel to Eternals.
Wait, is that a serious thing? Oh, that's right. That is. They are really doing an Eternal sequel.
Yo, who saw Claymore?
Claymore?
Yeah, it's an anime joint. I love it.
Maybe Keith has. I have not seen it as of yet. See, yeah,
I got the Blu-ray.
Huh?
I said, looking for you. I got the Blu-ray.
There we go.
Ooh.
All right, so that's where the Marvel Studios is situated right now. They're in a real weird place. Fortunately, they've got Loki right now, so you can watch and enjoy a really good Marvel Studios product. And I meant to pull this back up. Hopefully, I didn't lose my place on it. Darn it. But I did totally lose it. But the director of Loki said, I feel really free and fortunate to have my show get a second season. And you can kind of tell that because it feels more like a show that feels like it's sticking around for a while and not some situation where hopefully we'll throw this out real fast and hope for the best. But anyway, we've talked a lot about Marvel Studios. Let's go to the other comic book universe that is in a interesting house of, let's not call it shambles, but all kinds of craziness. So, Jace, why don't you pull up your report on all the behind the scenes drama going on with Aquaman?
Oh, I was which one do you want me to start on? Jeez. Okay. So, based on what has been leaking out from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard drama, they actually had some notes that this is on legal. I don't think her therapist note should have come out, but that's beside the point. But because of that, it was released that they basically were trying, like, the Aquaman 2 was trying to move on from Amber Heard after the first movie. They were like, hey, we're gonna move her out. She doesn't have the right chemistry with Jason Momoa. And then a rather big soon-to-be owner of X decided to get in and say, no, you're not going to fire my ex-girlfriend. She is going to stick around for Aquaman 2. And she does. But with that, the director potentially has cut out all her scenes. Like, if you watch the trailer, she's in one scene, even though potentially she's Aquaman's wife. And these test scores of Aquaman and what is this now called? The Lost Kingdom.
It's the Lost Kingdom, all right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and the Lost Kingdom is testing in about the 60s range. And this is after all their kind of reshoots to try and make it work. And they still can't get it to work. What else we got on the drama on that one?
I pulled it up. So Amber's got some notes. She said, Jason said he wanted me fired. Jason, drunk, late on set, dressing like Johnny, has all the rings too. I mean, I kind of feel like Johnny Depp kind of borrowed Jason Momoa's style anyway, but yeah.
And that's kind of what the Warner rep like. Yeah, he looks like, that's how he dresses. It's not a copy of your ex-husband. That's how he actually is. It's like
there's actually a DC spokesperson who said Jason Momoa conducted himself in a professional manner at all times on the set of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Others echo that sentiment. Jason works his tail off, likes to have a beer once in a while like everyone, but doesn't show up drunk to set. Adding that the two stars got along, we're seen joking together, and he isn't dressing like Johnny Depp. He's always dressed in that bohemian style. And I feel like that's true too, because in every screening, that's what he looks like. It's not like he's coming out in Texas and all that good stuff.
Yeah, like when he's promoting his beer, his vodka company, that's how he dresses. It's not like he's doing something different trying to taunt her. And sadly, if you're in a bad headspace, you're going to see everything is wrong. And
I heard she went crazy the day he came dressed as her.
I think I would too if that was the case. But it seems like, I mean, it's like based on these notes, it's like Aquaman 2 is in a bad spot, and it was filmed in a bad spot, and it seems like that's a new disaster for the last lame duck movie of the Warner Brothers DC properties.
I think we should just knock the D off her last name and just say, "Why is Amber here?" You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think that's what you go on. Why is Amber here? So,
again, I mean, like, okay, like, and this is not knowing any of the backstage drama. I am just like, I don't think I disliked Amber Heard. I don't remember anything she was in. I don't think I disliked her or anything. I thought she was good.
Pineapple Express. That's probably the only thing you've seen her in.
No, actually, you know what? The one I actually remember her from was what's this? Not Pineapple Express. Zombie. What's the one with Woody Harrelson and Jason?
Zombieland.
Zombieland. She's in that like for 5 seconds.
I was about to say I don't remember her at all.
Was part 1, part 2.
Part 1. She's the first zombie who.
No, that's not her name. His neighbor. What?
That was his neighbor. That was cute girl neighbor.
Hot girl from next door.
Yeah.
That was Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Machete Kills too.
He killed her with the toilet top.
That was
double tap.
She was 406. Okay. Anyhow, so then
there's more on DC, of course.
Yeah. Former DC boss Walter Hamada was going to fire her over the lack of chemistry issues, but ultimately Warner Brothers didn't because her former boyfriend, Elon Musk, had one of his litigators send a scorched earth letter to Warner Brothers, says Variety, threatening to burn the house down. If the actress wasn't brought back for a sequel, he would burn the house down if she wasn't brought back for a sequel. Warner Brothers caved and moved forward with Heard.
That sounds like the old packages in the trunk play. You take her shopping, put the bags in the trunk, make a stop at your house, leave your house, take the bags back and return them. And I think that's what Elon Musk just did right there. Like, no, it's cool. Now come over tonight. And then call the director, listen, just cut her out. I'm not gonna send another letter.
It's all bad.
Yeah, man. It's all good, man. The problem with Amber Heard now, it seems like she's a liar. I mean, in trouble, it's just troublesome, and nobody wants to work with that. Nobody wants to work with somebody who's going to.
She's not Meryl Streep.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, man. We actually found out she lied on old boy.
Oh yeah, let me say this.
So people are friends with Johnny, and it's hard working with somebody who isn't mentally okay or certain aspects. What happened, Scoot Ray? So it's just, he probably didn't want to work with her. I wouldn't have wanted to work with her. I'd have been like, anything you say, ever been in an environment where anything you say, you like, I shouldn't have said that in front of that person. They're gonna go and turn it into something. You know what I mean? And I think that's the kind of environment she probably makes people feel that way. And
if she's going like how it is presented, like for her side, it's like she's going through a bad divorce or whatever. Like she's not in a good headspace, and it's like you can't fire her, but you probably do need to figure out it's like this person, you need to take some time off, but we don't have time to take time off for you to deal with these issues. So we probably have to move on to help. I mean, we got a budget. We got to get this thing moving. It's like we don't have time. I don't want to say to be extra sensitive, but it's like that's probably like very much like we need to film a $200 million movie, and we need people who are a pleasant people to be around for 18, 19 hours a day. We cannot.
And that ain't
do
you,
this.
sis.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
We can't work around everybody, man.
Just to further make things less complicated in the DC universe, wink, wink. James Gunn and Peter Safran, not even that long ago, James Gunn tried once again to clarify things because he understands this is a pit of swirling chaos that he has stumbled into, that he's agreed to be a part of. And he's going to fix this DC universe. But he decided, I need to make sure everybody understands what's going on. He said, we don't necessarily have a bunch of folks coming back and reprising their roles in this new DC universe. I can tell you for sure, Viola Davis will be back playing Amanda Waller. John Cena is going to be back as Peacemaker. And our guy who played Blue Beetle, he's going to be back. And then Variety was like, seems like maybe we're not going to see anybody. None of the stars cast by Zack Snyder for 2016's Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, including Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, and Jason Momoa, will reprise their roles in the new DC universe in character. Now, there has been the rumors, and they look like they're going to continue on, and Momoa is going to switch roles, and he's going to play Lobo. And I think he'd be great as Lobo, probably a better Lobo than a good Aquaman. So I think that's awesome to move him over. But it's really weird and really odd because it's like Gal Gadot was pulling a Henry Cavill and was like, yeah, I'm going to be back. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And we're like, well, this is weird. We're going to bring her back and not anybody else. But apparently she's not going to be back either. So I don't know who's sending these emails out to Henry Cavill, to Gal Gadot, but they probably need to get fired too. What y'all think?
Another DC production. As you know, that's so Raven. That's so DC. You know what I mean? Look, hey, don't feel too bad for Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was a millionaire. You know what I mean? Shoot, you got to get up and go to work tomorrow. Henry can go and never have to get up and go to work. He's on an island right now with his dogs. But in all honesty, man, that's what DC does. Let's see what this Gun is gonna do, man. I'm curious to see how he's gonna mess this up.
Jeff, you kind of you left out one little fun part of this story.
Which one?
It appears that as much as we said James Gunn and Peter Safran are in charge of the DC universe, that's not 100% accurate.
I didn't say they were in charge.
It actually now appears that the people in Max, the actual heads of their TV show, actually have some control on who sticks around for DC. Well, and that's kind of why Peacemaker is coming back intact, even though it has people from the previous universe. So, and they kind of also can kind of say, well, maybe we want that person back too. And that probably, it's like when Jeff said somebody from Max, somebody let Gal Gadot, she's back. That probably was somebody from that other side, or they were ones that said, yeah, no, we're not going to bring her back because we got our own idea for Wonder Woman because we're going to make a Wonder Woman TV show called Themyscira, and we don't want to actually have to deal with Gal Gadot. It's not as awesome. I mean, like the idea of a reboot, it's like we think it's the right thing to do, but the biggest idea of a reboot was Flashpoint, and we still have crap from there.
So what you were saying, there are rumors now that Warner Brothers could potentially be sold, and Universal Pictures is the leading candidate to make the purchase. And Warner Brothers right now is Warner Brothers Pictures. It's currently part of Warner Brothers Discovery, which has Discovery and the Max streaming service. DC Studios is also part of Warner Brothers, and with all the drama and all this stuff, there's rumors and belief that the studio will be sold within the next 2 years, says Variety, and Universal's maybe the number one buyer. And the bottom line is they need to get DC to work, whether David Zaslav owns it, whether Brian Roberts owns it, whether somebody else owns it, said Lightshed's Rich Greenfield, a Wall Street analyst and venture capitalist. And they break down, well, who's really calling the shots for DC? Is it James Gunn and Peter Safran? Or is it the heads over at Max? And that would be Sarah Aubrey and Casey Bloyd. But people are saying, oh, it's fine. Everything's great. And that's working out just fine. I have problems and questions. This could lead to another massive overhaul of everything that we have heard so far with DC in the new era, and maybe even makes $1 billion. Maybe it's all good and nobody cares. But it's not looking great. What do you guys think about this?
2 years. That potential means they could be sold before Superman Legacy comes out.
And keep in mind that Paramount Pictures once had control of the Marvel Studios films, and they sold it right at Avengers. Like Paramount and Disney had joint billing on Avengers. I don't know why Paramount decided now's the time to say sell, because that wasn't a great business decision.
I don't know. Saying something's going to be sold in 2 years is a bunch of gibberish to me. You know what I mean? Hey, fellas, listen, I'm going to sell my house in 2 years. And you're like, well, why'd you tell me that? You know what I mean? Like, what's the need to even...
in this kind of scenario, it's like they're soliciting buyers, basically like, get your money ready because we're going to come out with a price for all our assets. And talk to your investment bankers so we can have this off our books, off Discovery's books in 2 years.
I remember one time we was in the barbershop, man, a long time ago. And this dude that talked about he went to Chicago, ate at Michael Jordan restaurant, this, that, and the third. And I remember he was like, yeah, man, I met this fine girl and I got her number. He was like, man, I can't wait to call her when I go back next year. And we all just kind of looked at him. We ain't say nothing. And then he did something and walked out. He was like, what? Next year? You won't call her next year? Like, what does that mean? What does I'm going to do something next year mean? Literally. I'm going to buy a house next year. I'm going to sell. Like, if you're not talking now, it means nothing. It's just a bunch of gibberish that make you look left while something is going right. And if he thinks that with this ship floating down on right over top of the Titanic, if he thinks this thing is going to be okay in the next 2 years, nobody's going to see nothing. Who saw Blue Beetle? Raise your hands from my movie guys.
I'll check the chat. I don't see a hand yet.
So you guys didn't see Blue Beetle. Like, nobody's running to see these movies, bro. Nobody wants to see none of this. When you go to sell in 2 years, you can buy it for pennies on the dollar because this joint is not going to sell anything. Nobody's asked for Superman Legacy. Nobody's asked you to reboot Superman. The Batman remix reboot sucked. All these things going on. Like, DC is just it's you might as well have doused yourself with fire and then ran into the pit of hell. That's where DC is going. It is crappy. It is sucky. I hate it, and I hate them. Gunn, Sarah, Bobby, all of them.
Bobby.
It's just
like the Brady Bunch.
You know what I mean? It's just you know what I mean. And I know Blue Beetle about to be on one of the free in a minute. It's like $24.99. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna peep it when it comes free, and that's what I'm gonna do for all DC movies. I'm gonna peep them when they come free. I didn't pay for Flash. I'm not paying for another DC movie. I'm telling you, man, it is not gonna be cool. They are ruining everything, man. They had this franchise going, and they got lazy, and they sat on their big, fat, rich hands, and now this thing is just on fire. Nobody wants it. We don't want Blue Beetle. We don't want.
See, I mean, but remember, like Justice League did not do well. Like Justice League was.
Bro, we got those punk versions of the movie. We should have got the Snyder cut coming off the top. The original movie, Justice League movie, didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. The Snyder cut made sense. They literally said, "Oh, this movie makes sense. Give them this movie." and gave us a product that was garbage, and they knew it was going to be garbage.
Yeah, I mean, like I will say this. I remember when I was defending the movie, I was like, "Hey, this is not a perfect movie. It is trying to get more like DC. It's trying to get more like Marvel, more lighthearted." Because again, I am one of them. I've said this before. I like Zack Snyder, but some of this is too dark for mainstream audiences. It's just not. It's not for everybody. It's not going to get you that buzz in getting you that $1 billion. It's just like that's just wasn't going to be the case. It wasn't going to be every one of these movies is going to knock out $1 billion. And they're trying to be like, all right, we can get more like Marvel if we do certain things, but we don't follow through with like after that movie. It was like that movie like Justice League. The next announcement should have been Superman, Man of Steel 2. It is greenlit for 2 years. 2 years, it's going. But then it was like after that, it died. The whole DC universe died on the vine because it was like, well, we don't know what we're gonna do, so let's throw out some movies. That was on it.
Hold on, we at least admit, even if you didn't like the Snyder Cut, if you did, can you at least admit that it made sense?
Oh, and again, again, I own these Zack Snyder Justice League. I no longer own that.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's like it makes it's like you would have like Zack Snyder's version. If you could have just like, all right, here's. I mean, we probably can't get Zack Snyder to make it all warm and fuzzy. That was on us, but we can at least make some movies that make sense. And when he actually says, "Hey, I have a story on why Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent have beef," I like to keep that in the movie. Don't cut that out. Like that's that. It's like you wouldn't have. I don't think you have half the problems of DC if they didn't edit out the stuff that actually made sense. And whatever. Okay.
Man, listen, man. I just that first original joint didn't even make sense, man. We matter of fact, we hated Cyborg. We was like, what is this dude even doing in the movie? Like, it didn't even make sense.
You hated Cyborg.
Yeah. You did. It was like we before we were on video, you were like, who's asking for another Cyborg movie? Like,
well, nobody was asking for Cyborg. Let's be honest. So, listen, I'm not saying he wasn't the answer, but when you got to the first original movie that they gave us, and then you got the second movie, it was totally different. The things made sense. You may or may not like the movie, but the Snyderverse made sense. It was like they cut out. It was like there's Superman flying with the building. That was out. Flash running, pushing one car away. You know what I mean? That was out. It just made sense, the Snyderverse, man. Whether you liked it or not or hated the movies, they made sense. I'm just saying, give us a movie that makes sense. We can move forward with it. Whether you move, but you gave us a movie that everybody hated. At least the Snyderverse, people can be like, well, I didn't like it. But the first one, everyone hated. Everybody was like, what is this? So, yeah, man. Listen,
and I'm just like, somebody asked, like, how hard is it to make comic book movies? It is hard if you don't have actual understanding of your source material. Comic books, the reason they have been around for 60 years is because they haven't. They aren't the biggest literature that everybody reads, but they have endearing stories that can actually go with you. They have timeless stories. I'm sorry, and if you utilize them for that, it's like, all right, here's a story I can say. I have Jeff has omnibus of these Avengers stories, and you can say, all right, this is a story we can use. Even this might have been an issue. All right, there's a story here. There's a movie here. Let's see how we can flesh it out. The character we're gonna like to introduce. Let's see if we can introduce that person in there. It's not hard if you actually just take the groundwork. Hey, I sat down and read every Ant-Man comic book that was available for the last 10 years. I can make a daggone movie. You give me any. I'm not a fan of what was it? Let's just say Teen Titans. I haven't read most Teen Titans movies, and I am excluding myself from using Judas Contract. I can still, you give me all those issues. I can make you at least 3 good movies. If you handicap somebody and say, don't read anything, just here's these colorful characters and go. Like, you'll get Teen Titans where they are having a whole season going against the Riddler and not understanding why nobody loves you. Like, that, until they still figure out that stupid thing to get rid of, comic books the comic book movie era will die if they don't figure out how to stop it. That's very easy. You have source materials. You do not reinvent the wheel. Just go from the source material and you will make money.
I was waiting on you to drop your mic. You were like fired up and heated.
I mean, it's because it's like, again, I'm watching stuff that's been bad, and I'm literally like watching it, and it's just like, this is for 10 years. Marvel didn't make bad. It was just, and it's like now all of a sudden the floodgates of complete crap have just, it's like, it was like basically like a sewage treatment plant that's all water's been filtered you never saw, and then after Spider-Man, somebody forgot to close the hose, and all the sewage just got released in everybody's water. And now we're all drinking the crap water and wondering what the heck, why things change. Like,
Jace, I don't drink it. I'm just letting you know that now. I don't watch shows anymore that I think are good. I will not.
This smells funny.
So yeah. I see from the comments, man. We got a lot of. I feel like people are either on the Snyder side or against it, man. I feel like we should meet up and have a Ron Burgundy type fight. You know what I mean? Like all the news teams just meet up and we just go at it. One for Snyderverse, the other for not.
Rumble.
I'm bringing a trident.
Well,
that escalated.
My man.
I think
okay. Like, I'm gonna say this. I like Watchmen. I read the graphic novel Watchmen, and I actually like the movie Watchmen. Like, I do not think it's like I like Watchmen.
Yeah, I didn't like that movie. The only thing I liked about the movie was Rorschach. You think you're locked in here? You think I'm locked in here with you? You're locked in here with me. See,
I like Osmodeus. It's like, I mean, his just like, did you really think I was gonna do that? I did that 30 minutes ago. Like, that was just the coolest way to have a bat. I mean, like, at the end of it, it's just like, no, it's already done. It was like, and I thought trying to use what was in the graphic novel wasn't gonna work as well as what they did in the movie.
I felt like the blue guy could have put on clothes. Yeah, but I didn't like Watchmen that much. I didn't hate it. I started liking it better as time went on. But when I first saw it in the movies, I was like, what is this?
It wasn't like every other movie that was coming out at that time.
Yeah, so you know
how the comic book was.
So
all right, well, okay, so I think the real issue is they have the gold mine, which is mostly inexhaustible because they've got decades and decades of material they can use. For whatever reason, they're still going, let's come up with original stories. I feel like with stuff that has an existing audience, and this can go to old sitcoms, old TV shows, old movies, comic books, video games, whatever. If you just use that, bring it to live action, the fan base isn't going to care. They're not going to be like, I can't believe they're doing word for word what was in the comic book. I bet that most of us would be like, awesome, this is great. Now I can see it in live action, and the way I could only imagine what was going on between the panels from the book, seeing it all come together. And, you know, there's a reason why the Harry Potter books did so well as movies, where most people like Game of Thrones, and where the first Infinity Saga did so well. It's because they were like, yeah, let's make a few tweaks, but we already got it. We don't need to do any extra work. And it's so weird because this is the only industry, the only thing where people want to create more work for themselves, as opposed to just going, phew, I got the answer right here. I don't need to do anything. I'll just be a genius going, look, I came up with this story. And all we have to do is do a special thanks to this guy who wrote it and drew it. We're all good.
I give this guy a little bit of credit. throw them like $500,000. I got the open book test answers right here. I'm good.
Exactly, Ski Raider. Yeah, I mean, Arkham games were made for good movies too. So it's just, it's weird. All right, well, it's that special, magical time of the week. But before we get to that, this Friday the 13th. And, I was like, well, this would be a great time to do a watch along. And I think we had some options on the table. I know we discussed Happy Death Day, Friday the 13th, the remake, the latest one, the 2008, 2009 version. And Chief, you had a bunch of suggestions. I think I can't watch them on because most of them are on Pluto, which I can't watch on the screen. But I have a bunch of Blu-rays, so we could do Your Next, Hide and Seek, Ready or Not, whatever. We'll put it out in the poll for everybody. But start thinking about what you guys want to see. And then we'll come back on Friday and do the thing.
I just want you to know that I will not be joining Friday's live action watch. It Follows has not been seen by Jeff. I informed him that I will not do another watch until It Follows gets seen. So
I will take a screenshot as I'm watching.
It's
before Friday.
I'm just letting you know it's not gonna happen here. What I'll do is I'll be in the comments, with the rest of the guys, just like, oh yeah, looks like it's good. But I'm not gonna be joining.
Okay. Noted. All right. Well, it's that fantastic time of the week. Who are your nominees for Dummies of the Week? There's so many options. Bro Shot, shake things up. Go first.
I'm sorry. My dummy of the week is easily Will Smith. Like, there's just no, there's just no way around it. It's like you getting played that bad in front of everybody and not at all standing up for yourself and just like, hey, it is what it is. Just to be just so humiliated on a regular basis and just, I'm good. I'll champion it. It's like, nah, I think Chief said it all. He's my dummy of the week.
Okay, mine has to be, and I'm not quite sure why I forgot this earlier, but it needs to be said once again because he's got a new movie. He's very much like, I've got something. Let me go do something I know will get me back in the news. And I kind of shouldn't, but I felt the need to. GQ profiled Martin Scorsese, and he once again told everybody he's not a fan of blockbuster comic book inspired films. He said they're like theme parks, but this time he went in even harder and said the danger there is what it's doing to our culture, because there are going to be generations now that think movies are only those, that's what movies are. Movies about gangsters being terrible people, killing people and shooting them behind in the back of their heads, cheating on their wives.
Are you sure that's what he said, Jeff?
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. That's not what he was talking about. He was talking about comic book movies. And I'm sorry, let me get back on track. Scorsese said they already think that, which means we have to then fight back stronger. We have to talk about the heroic mobsters who battled back against adversity.
I don't think that's what he said.
I'm confused then. I mean, if you did something, I mean, like, you made your career on mob movies. Like, literally, that's it. I mean, I'm sure I could stumble along and find some non-mob focused movie that Scorsese did. And then for like a whole generation of 90s rappers, they were like, oh man, Casino. I mean, Firm did the Casino homage to their album cover. We had Scarface. Every rapper had Scarface. The World Is Mine, Chico, and everything in it. That's what a whole generation thought cinema was. Gangster movies. So now time does what it does. It keeps on moving. Like, listening to these modern rappers is like, gosh, that's not music. But whatever. I can listen to all the stuff I want to anyway. I'll just bring up my CD, my iTunes, whatever, do the thing. But he does not seem able to understand that what he used to like doesn't count. And I shouldn't say doesn't count, but that's not the big thing anymore. But he's digging his heels in so deep, like, no, I don't care what you kids are enjoying. That's not movies. What's movies is people shooting their friends in the back and cheating on their wives and all that stuff. It's like, cinema is a whole bunch of things. And then he goes, oh, I mean, it's just basically like AI, where it's just content generated. Every mob movie is basically the same mob movie.
Mob boss asks for somebody to be killed. Somebody betrays mob boss. The end. Now, the fact that this next movie is going to be 3.5 hours long, it's like, Martin, nobody's going to sit in the movie theater like that. You got lucky.
Another movie of his. That's 3 hours.
Like, I mean, it's like, I know technically Casino was probably 3 hours long, but I don't think I'm not capable of sitting in a movie at this point in my life for 3.5 hours. Like, that has to be delivered to Netflix, and I can take a bathroom break, just walk around. I can't sit around for 4 hours watching a movie anymore. Like,
yeah, it's the worst. And I'm so over his self-indulgent, non-editing. Just do your thing. There are tons of directors who don't really need to bash something else that other people enjoy. Just make your movies and call it a day. You still got fans. You still got audience to watch your stuff. Just cater to them. Chief, what's yours?
Jace, man, grab the large soda. Get a jacket. Large soda. Look around. Make sure everybody's engrossed in the movie. And just handle your business. You don't never have to get up from your seat. You know what I mean? The soda's empty. The container's big enough. You're good. I don't never get up from a movie no more. I just grab a large soda. Put my jacket over my lap. All right. So, where are we now? 80 dummies of the week. My dummies of the week are going to continue to be the New York Football Giants. The New York Football Giants are going to be my dummies of the week. So you don't even have to ask me anymore. We'll just New York Football Giants. The offensive line is porous. I feel like they're all a bunch of bullfighters waving their flag and olaying the bull through. Olay. Olay.
It's like, I'm sorry.
Hey, you see the fear in that man's eyes, bro? He doesn't even
fear in his eyes was
he doesn't even have the white around his eyes anymore. It's just all pupil. It's all pupil, man. Trust me. The one thing I love to do is pee in public, Blake. The offensive line. Hold on, man. Come on, man. I don't need you to pile on too. Let me just one step at a time on them. One person at a time. They got the quarterback hit. I mean, he's been hit 40 times this year. At this point, a couple of weeks ago, the coach came on and said, "Well, man, it's the Saquon's ankle ain't that bad. He could play Thursday night." A couple of weeks ago, he could have played Thursday night. He's still out. I think at this point, he's just like, "Yo, I'm not coming back."
Again, you didn't pay. You guys decided you didn't want to pay me. So guess what?
Yeah, at this point,
you want me to run behind this offensive line?
Yeah.
Nope.
I think he's just being like, "Yo, this is what I'm gonna carry like this." I think he's okay. I think he's just gonna carry it. Left tackle's out. We got the whole offensive line is all guards. There's no, bro. Left tackle is a guard. Left guard is a guard. The center's a guard. The right guard is a guard. The only person who's really slated is Evan Neal. But Evan Neal is a turnstile out there. Look, man, it just counts the people that goes by. And
it's like the
did you see that Gridiron Heights that I sent you?
Yes, I've seen them all, Jeff.
Please stop using the turnstile.
Yeah, man,
turnstile to enter the carnival.
They are embarrassing. They keep putting us on prime time. We're back on prime time this week. For the love of God, why? Why haven't we been flexed out? To a 1 o'clock game. You telling me you couldn't flex us to a 1 o'clock game and put somebody else prime time? We look like a bunch of jokers in that thing, man. Bunch of high school cats. We are embarrassing ourselves. I've never seen a dude not scheme. We can't scheme anybody open. We don't have nobody running. The quarterback throws 6 yards. It is the defense doesn't stop the run. Bro, when I tell you, man, I grab my blanket, my comfort blanket, and I just lay on the couch, man, just holding myself, rocking myself, man. Like, this can't be real, man. It's only one sport I watch. I don't do basketball. I don't do baseball. I don't do football, goal. I don't do any of that. That's not what I do. I live for one season. It is football season. And let me tell you guys,
oh man,
I feel vulnerable. Like,
it's the same space, Steve.
Sunday morning comes and I'll just lay in the bed looking up at the ceiling and I'll just be like, oh, is it Sunday already?
Don't go to the window, Chief.
Hey, man, listen. I get it, 49er. You're having the best time of your life. You know what I mean?
We lost to the Jets.
Yeah, well, listen. But yeah. But I should say we go over to Jeff's house and we just start kicking at his shins until he gets tired.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
probably not gonna let you
do. Thanks, man. And for the first time in my life, I feel bad for me too, man. I don't understand. I don't understand why this is happening to me. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Come on, Ryan. No, man. Come on, man.
He's used to playing without an offensive line.
I mean, like, okay. I mean, who is a bad football fan? Who would you rather be? A Giants fan, a Broncos fan, a Jets fan, or a New England Patriots fan? Oh, and throw in the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Nobody's getting any sympathy for Patriots fans. I mean, they got to have 6 Super Bowl trophies, and half of them were deserved.
Man, look, my gout done acted up right now.
It's flared up on you.
You still got my gout acting up. I'm over here rubbing my feet, man. Got gout on fire now. I can't. I don't even drink this late. I'm gonna go upstairs and just have me some dark liquor. You know what I mean? Some dark liquor. So yeah, so that's my dummies of the week, fellas. The New York Football Giants. I don't understand why we can't get it together. I don't know why they don't want it to get it together. As a regular person, can't fathom being a pro athlete and letting the person in front of me dominate me to the point where it's just embarrassing. And that's what's going on, man. So I hope you guys is doing better. I'll see you for the next dummies of the week, which will be the New York Football Giants. So that's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you all so much as always for tuning in. As always, I'll be back on tomorrow night for another edition of Lyle's Figure Files, where we talk about all these crazy deals from Amazon Prime days, new stuff dropping on G.I. Joe Classified series already, and talking about that Dreadnought buzzer. Wild. Anyway, and then at least I'll be here Friday night for a movie, and assuming I finish watching It Follows, maybe Chief will show up too. All right, for now, this episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.